I would die to look like you. And God, you must be so happy with all the followers you have. These are some of the messages I get on Instagram daily. But it wasn't always the case. I used to be called Fugly Becky by the popular kids in school. It got so bad that as soon as I would walk into class, Sarah and her gang would gossip about me, saying horrible things like, "Ew, it's Fugly Becky. She looks like she hasn't washed in months." The more I tried to ignore her words, the more they stung, until one day I couldn't take it anymore and decided I was going to prove to Sarah that I could be just as popular as her. As soon as I got home, I spent hours scrolling through Instagram looking at makeup tutorials and dance routines. My classmates' snarky remarks kept ringing in my ear, and it only made me more determined than ever to prove to everyone that I wasn't just a nobody. I was going to be famous. Every day after school, I would practice and make content until one day I went viral. I had gained over 100,000 followers. I was so excited that I could barely sleep. I was going to show my classmates and Sarah that just because I don't look like everyone else doesn't mean they could pick on me. I thought as soon as I could prove my worth to Sarah, I would finally be happy. But I wasn't. Her reaction only fueled my desire more. And I started becoming addicted to the online world that I spent all my time trying to make the best content. But if my photos or video didn't get as many likes as my last one, I would break down in tears hearing Sarah's words in my head. I became even more isolated in class and only focused on putting on a happy face for my followers. But as soon as I turned my camera off, I would break down into tears. I felt so alone and would only find happiness when I saw the hearts pop up. My addiction to social media got so bad that I stopped interacting with my family completely and started spending every day locked in my room and on my phone. I craved for online interaction and would feel a mix of happiness and guilt whenever girls messaged me saying how they wished they were me, because inside, I felt shallow and I hated being me. I had become everything I never wanted to be, but I also couldn't stop because for once in my life, I felt popular and pretty. Slowly, the addiction was eating me away, and my parents started noticing. When one day, my mom finally had enough and sat me down. "Honey, is everything okay? Your dad and I are really worried about you. You've stopped eating, and you never even speak to us anymore." Mom, I couldn't help but burst into tears. I told my mom everything from the bullying and becoming dependent on Instagram to making myself feel better. She promised we would get through it together, so I started to look online and found tools to help me kick this addiction. First, I needed to identify my main digital enemy, which was Instagram. And secondly, I then had to limit how often I went on the app, and instead started walking outside every day with my mom. It forced me to be present in the outside world and not feel like I had documented everything that I was doing. With the help of my mom, I also started doing other methods that helped me feel better, like unfollowing people that had negative effects on my mental health, and instead follow people that inspire me. I also have to remind myself that no one is truly perfect, especially on social media. We are all struggling with something, so it's important to accept yourself. In the end, I did lose a lot of followers, but I realized that I shouldn't have placed so much self-worth on how many likes I had gotten, or put so much into proving myself to Sarah. Because how many likes I get does not define my worth. I am enough.